Hey, what's going on Facebook? Once again, it's your man Leif. Waiting on my dude J Kev to come in. 2 nights in a row. Just making sure that we get this in. Two shy guys and a mic. See if we can get them on. Hey, what's up, Brian? How you doing, sir? See, there's Kevin. See if we can get him in here. What's up, JK? DJ.
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh, there we go. We got J Kev up in here. What's up,
What's
bro?
up with the
You
music,
kind of.
man? Am I good now?
Yeah. Kind of delayed, but
Okay, cool.
what's up, Tiandra? How you
Oh,
doing?
am I still delayed? I'm not on the Wi-Fi tonight, so we're network
Yeah, it's
dependent.
actually picking up, so you're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, you
So
just
get it
switched the
rolling before
music
you
up
fall, before
because
you
at
drop
first
off.
okay.
No,
What's up, two shot guys in a mic here? Leif Taylor, Kevin Johnson, J. Kevin Johnson here.
what's up, man?
Just free flowing tonight. I don't know where we're going to start and where
Mhm.
we're going to finish, but just stick around and you may catch a few nuggets. If you don't catch a few nuggets, hopefully you'll catch a few giggles and laughs, something that's going to help you along the way and get you prepared for the week, whatever that endeavor, whatever
Yeah.
that may hold for each and every one of you under the sound of my voice. So thanks for coming on, community. We're going to spend a few minutes and hopefully take you on a
Right,
ride, a
right
fun
now,
ride.
Kevin, you sounding like Max Headroom, brother. Yeah, you going in and out all crazy. You sound like Max Headroom, like you glitching, like you part of Wreck-It Ralph or something.
Oh man, for real. On my end, it looks smooth and everything looks good. You look good and look nice and healthy and clean. How about now?
Yeah, you're good right
Still,
now.
still glitching.
So keep it rolling. No, you're good right now. Keep it rolling.
All
Keep it
right,
rolling.
cool, cool. Well, I guess one of the big things that's kind of been on my mind lately is has been mental health and just getting and keeping your mind right, especially in today's world. It's just something that I seem to notice, or something that kind of is sticking out to me
What's up,
lately.
Bridget?
Especially, I was out and about, and I always pick up these little health and wellness things along the way, right? And today's topic was
Okay.
mental, or this month's topic was mental health and the battle for mental health. And I was just going through some numbers, some reports, some things as far as what's going on with mental health. And it was saying some not so good things about about where I'm located in the Kentucky area, and how Kentuckians in general, we're having to deal with a lot of issues as far as our mental state. And so I know this is probably, this not only here. I know it's pretty high here, but it's also high across the nation too, as well. Especially looking at how politics and how other things are really affecting people. It seems like the people that work in the mental health field are noticing a sharp increase. So it's becoming more of an issue and high priority when it comes to just the things that we talk about here and continue to have conversations when it comes to health, wealth, love, relationships, purpose, happiness.
Trying to
Working
break
in
up again.
each and every one of. Oh man, when it comes to working and making sure that we stay strong in each and every one of these pillars in our life, so that you're able to level up, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, and just enjoy life as much as possible. So this is one of the things that's kind of jumped out at me, especially, I talked about this and there's some other things that you sent me that we, communicate and conversate about
Yep.
with respect to some of the things in our thread, like the video with Wim Hof, and he uncovered or rediscovered, the real power of breathing and the power. He's real big about exploring the depths and the power that we have as human beings when it comes to how we breathe, and then also the level of thinking in our mind and how much that can really determine and shape and influence and create different outcomes when it comes to the life that we are wanting and desiring, and that's our birthright, I guess, to live, to pursue in this world. I mean, it's even in the Constitution, right? The pursuit of happiness. Is that right? The pursuit of happiness. So, when it comes to living healthy, strong, and happy, we definitely got to stay aware of our mental state.
Yeah.
And
So
just
what I
real
just did.
before I
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead.
If you got to do something. No, I was saying
Well, I
I
was going
just
to
posted a
say
link.
just
Go ahead, Kevin.
okay. Before I get knocked off, I was going to say one of the biggest things to help is sleep.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I was going to say.
So I just posted a link to brainhealthassessment.com, and we're talking about mental health. And so I talked about it last night on the live
You
about
did
brain
for
health.
real?
Yeah. See, Kevin, he's just out of the loop on things. I'm telling you. So
I took.
anyway,
I really am. Yeah.
so Dr. Daniel Amen, he posted. Well, I talked about a conversation that he had on impact theory, and I was discussing that last
Okay.
night. So I just posted a link to brainhealthassessment.com, so you can go on there, take the assessment, and see where you are brain health wise. It's similar to mental health, but it's slightly different. It's talking about like the how healthy like your physical brain is. And so it goes through a
Yes.
list of questions and those kinds of things. So definitely take time out to go through that. And also, if you look in my feed, if you go down a bit further, you'll see the interview, and he talks about the things that you shouldn't do. He has like a simple litmus
Yep.
test. Is this healthy for my brain or is it not? And that's it's literally like the litmus test that he has, and they give a list of things that are good for your brain and things that are bad. So going back to the mental health thing, that's a part of it, making sure that you have a healthy brain. And then also I talked about belief systems in
Okay.
terms of the way you
Yes.
think and how you function, and the way you think about life and how that impacts the way you live. So it's very definitely very important, especially in a time and age where there's so much going on. And he specifically talks about this internet social media age, being in front of the displays a lot, which actually had
Screens.
me thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had me thinking quite a bit. My wife and I, we've been discussing it, even talked about some things with our children. So definitely
Yeah.
take time out to really look at this stuff. It's definitely pertinent to your life, because he talks about even the longevity that you have in your life, based on the way you think and based on studies. So it's not just you know just hyperbole where we're just talking about stuff. This is actually research based information that they've studied. Like I said, he's done over 100,000 brain scans himself personally. So he's like the leading
Yeah.
uh, spokesman, or the leading scientist when it comes to brain health and brain activity.
Yeah, I've listened to quite a lot of Dr. Amen, and he's gotten me. He's made me more aware and maybe more cautious, especially when it comes, like you said, to the actual physical. And then also in thinking about, sports, and then all my sons participate in football, and pretty much he says, just no, don't do it. So
Yep.
these are things that, as a parent, I have to sit down and really think about, and really meditate and contemplate about when it comes to being the guardian and look over, as far as overseeing the health of my children, and then protecting my heritage and legacy, right?
Yep.
So, like you said, this stuff, we don't talk about it, we don't think about it just as hyperbole, but there are actual real lives that are attached to the things that we talk about and the things that we discuss. And that not only, is this about you and me, but it's about those who fall under the sphere of our influence, whether it be the messages that we put out, the sound of our voice, or the people who are actually affected by what we physically do in the real tangible world, along with the digital world.
Yep.
So these are discussions that we have fun, and we're lighthearted a lot, but at the same time they're very serious. And we consume, I know we both consume a lot of information, and this is one of the ways in which you can stay abreast or top or ahead when it comes to the waves of things, that the onslaught of information and knowledge that we are drowned in. So one of the ways that you do this is by, participating in conversations like this. This helps you not be mentally overwhelmed. And
Yep.
it's always good when you have a group of people digesting and processing information with you and for you, as they do it for themselves. So it's a crowd source or a crowd participation project that helps you keep your mind state under control and manageable, because no man or woman is an island, as we often talk about, and you can't stay abreast with a lot of this stuff by yourself. And when you try, you will find yourself mentally overwhelmed, mentally getting shut down, mentally just clocking out. And it can be serious. It can have serious
Yep.
situations. I know that a lot of people have to deal with things like suicide. I was looking through this, and it was just talking about the uptick as far as suicide, and I know that's been on at the forefront a lot when it comes to mental health, and when it comes to some of the effects of bad mental health. Um, I know that suicide has been on the increase, on the rise, pretty high when it comes to military people, servicemen, and
Yep.
then some other areas too. So, yeah, so I know we've all dealt with that in our personal lives, and I know many of you out there have dealt with it, are dealing with it, and may one day deal with it unbeknownst, not really wanting to have to deal with it, but it's just a matter of the world that we live in, that mental health will increasingly become even more of a bigger issue.
Yep.
Um, and I forgot where I heard that from. It was a report, or
It
uh,
was actually
it was from
the
something.
World Health Organization saying that mental health is the
Yes,
number one disease in the world.
yes, and there's a lot of reasons behind it. But as we become more distracted, and we become more inundated, and we become more immersed and transitioned into a more digitally based world,
Yep.
um, we're becoming more digitally based versus analog. So as that happens, and when that happens, quote unquote, information gets lost. Does that make sense? The world we live in is becoming more toxic, it been
Breaking
in
up.
times of recent past? Okay. Am I good now? Good now?
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah, real quick, just to
Okay.
touch on that,
What?
going back to the video again, it's one of the things that Dr. Amen talked about was stress and how we deal with stress and how we basically build on stress and the cortisone release that happens within our bodies when we get stressed and in stressful situations. So one of the ways that you can actually improve your mental health is to work on ways to reduce stress in your life. Work on the ways that you think about stress as well. And one of the simple ways that he talked about was, a lot of times we get anxious, and he talked about anxiety. Uh, one
That's
simple,
growing. Yes.
one simple way to really address that is, when you start having these bad thoughts, is just to ask yourself the simple question: Is this true? Right? It's like, man, I can't even think of a situation right now, but you just asked if it's true because a lot of times you can't predict the
And
future anyway. So if it's not true, then it's like, okay, so why am I worried about it? Why am I stressed about it? And so it's just these little bitty things. It's not complicated at all. It really isn't. What's going on, to give? It's really not complicated, but it's just things that you have to be mindful of,
hey,
or
Takia.
else these things slowly build up and start slowly destroying us without us even realizing it. And so you just, again, just start thinking about being more mindful about your health, your mental well-being, and your mental health in terms of your brain health as well. Just start thinking about those things. I hope that you all take the time out to look at the information. Yeah, well, I was going to say, I don't know if they talked about yoga specifically, but a lot of the videos I've been watching lately have been talking about it. And one of the reasons why yoga helps is because it's really just taking time out, separating yourself from the digital pressure that always comes on, whether it be through deep breathing, which is what your man Wim Hof talks
Hey,
about, the Iceman,
Wim
if
Hof.
you don't know who.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wim Hof talks about deep breathing. Actually, anybody that you read that talks about mental health, they'll discuss deep
They talk
breathing. It's
about
things
breathing.
that yes, things that seemed anecdotal years ago, but research and evidence is actually backing up a lot of the claims that these people have been making. So it's not just hippie stuff. It's real, scientifically backed information that shows that these things actually change the well-being of our bodies.
Yeah, a lot of things that have been placed to the margins of mainstream society and are typically looked at as being, yeah, Takia. I mean, you said, hey, Leif, but it's like she totally just like gave me like I don't see Kevin, I just see Leif. Hey, Leif. But yeah, it seems like a lot of things that were kind of pushed to the side and placed in the margins of society and deemed hippie-ish are now being moved to mainstream. It's like, oh, I guess this stuff really does work. So a lot of it does work, and a lot of it's simple, and a lot of it's just things that you could simply put in your life. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be healthy, strong, and happy. And when the system sees that people are figuring that out, they don't like that. So, a lot of things like deep breathing. I mean, how much you got to charge for a deep breathing class or
Yeah.
whatever? It's just nothing. It's something you can sit in your house. You can watch a couple of YouTube videos about, and you do it. That's it. Just simple stuff that has a big impact. Yes, homeostasis. Thanks, Maurice. The body is always trying to find homeostasis, and it's about balance in some respects. And then there's some respects of life that we talk about a lot. Is
Yep.
that sometimes you have to get out of balance. So it, like you always say, it depends. It depends on who you are, where you are, and where you've been and where you're trying to go.
Yep.
And
And
that's when you look on your that's
and the good thing
and that's
about
when you look
that
on your
is the
till
fact
belt
that
kit. Hmm.
yeah, is the fact
Go
that
ahead.
we have the ability to change. That's one of the things that
Yes.
is unique to human beings is from the standpoint of we can change our mind. It's not necessarily all instinct where we're driven to do certain things. Of course, they call it the reptilian brain and that kind of stuff. However, we have the ability to change and become whoever we want to be, whoever we choose to be. And in going back to the mental health and those kinds of things, if you're in a state that you don't like, you can change it. You really can. You can start doing things to start changing your belief systems. You can do things to start changing your health. And even going back to sports, what Kevin was talking about with his sons playing football, uh, you can even reverse some of the damages that occurred during that. So all of these things are fixable. That's why it's always a good thing to figure out where you are, where you're starting off at, and then go from there. A lot of times we don't want to face the reality of where we are with our health, whether it be mental or physical.
Yep.
So it's to your better advantage to figure out where you exactly are so you can improve and get to where you want to be.
Yeah, and sometimes, a lot of times, many times, you may have to get some outside eyeballs on your
Yep.
situation to help you out. Just to that's indifferent and that couldn't care less about the how you feel, but they just you need sometimes you need a coach, a third party, a professional,
Yep.
something, a friend, a caring,
Community,
compassionate
community.
help or something. Community is gonna say, "Hey, bruh, you got mud on your backside there." And you're like, "No, I don't." Like, "Yeah, you do. Here it is." you know,
Thought it was
you
mud.
need that help, and yes, thought it was mud. Hope it was mud. but yeah, you said some things that I was going to say, I was going to think about, but I forgot where I was going to go with it. But
Uh,
anyway, Hillary Thompson uh, made made a good point talking about the tech break,
yep.
and this is something that I've been appreciating for the last, I think, too long, because it's hard for me to once I take a tech break, it's hard for me to get back in it because not by nature I'm not a tech guy. So when I take long tech breaks, it's like, do I really want to get back on here and do this? But I do it anyway for a number of reasons. But yeah, tech breaks are good, especially in the world that we live in, and it goes a long way and has a deep impact on your health, wealth, love, and happiness in so many ways.
I'm
That's
sorry.
all I got, Leif.
This is all good. Let's see. Mo said, unfortunately, most of the change for us is a result of some negative trauma situations, but we need to be able to anticipate and identify those trends before we hit the critical points. Yeah, and even better, more so than that, we just really need to again figure out our why, what our purpose is, and those kinds of things, so we can start planning now and really in most circumstances, excluding war and extreme financial meltdown of the society, a lot of the things that happen externally, we're really immune to if we choose to be, if that makes any sense.
Yes. No.
So
Yes.
going back to that, because again, it all boils down to mindset. It all boils down to, how you're setting yourself up and those kinds of things. So I always admonish people to start now, especially in a time of peace, so to speak, because in a time of war, you don't have time. And what I'm saying in terms of a time of war is when all calamity is, breaking loose around you. You get so inundated.
Whether it be personal
Yeah,
or at
exactly.
any
Yeah.
level.
So you get so inundated with so many different things that it's hard to concentrate. Okay, my kids in here doing something. Or is that my wife? But anyway,
Mm.
it's better to do those things when you have time, or you have to make time. Actually, you have to make time, whether it be early in the morning, late at night, whenever you get time, to really start focusing on who you are. Again, who you want to be, what your whys are, what your purpose is, what are your goals, what are your, what's driving you. Dr. Amen, he talked about I want to say 4 points. Is it physical,
Uh-huh.
mental, spiritual, and there was another point that I forgot.
Probably
Yeah,
relationships. The
relationship. That
the
was it.
the framework.
That's it.
I probably stole the framework from him.
Yeah.
It's it's a lot of this stuff is becoming pushed to the forefront. Like I said, the mainstream society now. So the information is saturating just about everything we hear,
Yep.
do, and touch now. As far as people becoming more cognizant and aware of a lot of issues and things that exist now that I can remember just a few years back. Um, it really you had to really search out the
Yep.
information,
Yep.
and it's like now the wave is hit. And I was in a big box store the other day, and it's like, hold up, when did this happen? When did they start jumping on this? And it's like, oh, you see the dollars, you see where things are shifting, so they have to shift accordingly with respect to what people are doing, where they're going, and where they're spending their money at. So a lot of this stuff, like the framework is very simple: health,
Yep.
wealth, love, and relationships and happiness. And you nip away, as you say, brick by brick. You add
Yep.
on to each one of those pillars as much as you can in small increments, day by day. Then you continually maintain and build up platforms, a foundation that will help you level up like a video game to the next level in life. Because as we all know, there's levels to this. You think you hit the 30, 40, 50, 60, and there's always some older dude or older woman coming out and say, there's levels to this, bro. You still got, sister, you still got a long ways to go. There's more out here. So don't let your failures or your successes stand in your way of just realizing that there's more out there than meets the eye. So you should never be bored for too long.
Yep.
Boredom is good though. We will get bored. We will get
Yeah.
bored. It's
Boredom
part of the
and
human
pain is a good
condition.
thing. Boredom and pain is a
It's a
good
good
thing.
thing. So
Real
don't
quick
don't try to avoid them.
before we get off, see real quick, I see a great book that is helping me in this area is Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukov. My wife says that we have it, so I'll check it out. Thanks for the information, Robert. Real quick before we get off, one of the things that, like you said, all of this stuff is very simple. It really is, but the thing that is not so simple, the superpower that I call, is consistency. Consistency is the superpower of this world. I'm telling you, you have to live by it. That's how we gain information. That's how we gain, over time, is just staying consistent with this. And the hard part about consistency is we have bad habits typically that we're trying to break or trying to get past. And so it makes it a little more difficult to stay consistent when where we want to be. So that's one of the things I would
And
admonish
that's yes.
admonish you all to do. And again, it's really starting to develop those habits. Again, it's funny. Some things that we were doing instinctively, but it's part of this,
Hmm.
like this movement that Kevin is talking about with all of these people talking about these different things. Is like, for example, my artwork when I was on Instagram. It was, I guess, a year or two ago. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna draw anything and put it online just to get in the habit of doing so. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how it is. And so I just was for a period of time, I was just throwing everything out there just to get in the habit of producing content, producing artwork, and all of those kinds of
Yes.
things. And before I knew it, I had no pictures and I had over 300 and some pictures because I was doing it every day. And so, and once you start developing those habits, then you can start
Excellent.
developing the intensity within the habit. So, say your intensity is
Yes.
to work out, right? One of the guys mentioned in the book, guy, he determined that he was going to go to the gym every day for 5 minutes and then leave. He didn't work out. He didn't do anything. He just went for I guess a period of 2 months. He would show up at the gym, walk around, and leave. Right? He
And
did it
leave.
for 2 months, and then eventually, once he got in the habit of doing that, he started exercising, and the guy ended up losing over 100 pounds. Right? Because he had developed that
Wow.
consistency in his mind that this is the habit that I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm gonna do. So he just did it. He didn't put any pressure on it. It's just like when you're trying to get people to read books, church people trying to get somebody to read the Bible, just open it
Mm.
up and read something. Just develop the habit of
Yep.
opening and reading. No matter how much, don't focus on how much you read, just focus on the habit. And then eventually your brain will start kicking into where it becomes an automatic thing. And so you begin, it's just part of your makeup. So the same thing with exercise, the same thing with any skill that you're trying to acquire, same thing with any habit you're trying to build. It's just consistency. Consistency is that thing that helps you get over the top.
Yeah, consistency is very important, and in community help having a community that will help you with consistency is very important too, especially for the average normal non-life person. There are some people who are born. Some people's superpower is consistency, but most people's superpower is whatever. My superpower, my superpower is to block consistency, right? So you have all, yeah. No, no, you gonna be consistent, Kevin? Nope.
Tonight.
But yeah, so but consistency is something that separates the one percenters, from everybody else, and that rain, sleet, snow, they don't care. They got a job to do, and they're gonna do it. So
Gonna get done. Yep.
consistency are it's those are the movers and shakers in the world that when you wake up and you just need something that's consistent, it's there. It's like McDonald's. It's like you may not want it, you may not desire it, but you know that if you down and out, you need something for $1. They going Hey, bruh, I know you've been talking bad about us on the live stream, but hey, we still love you. Come on over here,
Exactly.
bring it, right? I could dog them out. I could talk bad about them, say stuff about what's in the foods. If they wanted to,
Still
they
gonna
could
be
send a
there. It's
whole
still gonna
crew of
be there.
lawyers over here. They still gonna be there, and they gonna welcome me on in. Here, have a seat, bruh. We got something for you. Nice little dollar burger.
Stupid. So anyway,
you gonna you gonna you, you
that's
gonna
it
be
for
the
tonight.
million and one.
So we're gonna wrap it up here tonight. We were just wanting to make sure that we got on as part of our consistency, as part of us doing Two Shy Guys. We want to make sure that that we don't let weeks go by without us being online. So that's something that we've committed to, that we're committed to you, Kev,
The
Super
super,
Power Disappointment.
super.
Uh, so anyway, we appreciate you guys as always. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the commentary. If you have any other links that'll be helpful to anybody, drop them in. Oh man, I just realized next time I wear, somebody gave me a shirt sponsor to wear for the next show. So
Oh, okay.
I'll support that.
Oh,
We
so
gotta,
Leif's getting sponsorships, y'all. Oh, okay. You getting sponsorships now.
uh,
It's the
so
first I've
anyway, I'm
heard
in a
of
different
this.
house tonight, so it's silly.
it's
Yeah,
it's gonna be
we'll
like
get Kevin in the
Beyonce and the crew. What crew is Beyonce a part of? What what crew
I'll
was she a
definitely
part of when she
tell.
first came out? Yeah, nobody knows. I don't remember. And like, what crew was you part of in Two Shot Guys? Like, no, it's always been Leif Taylor. I'm doing sponsorships and everything.
But
Okay, I see
anyway,
how it is. It's all right, bro.
we appreciate you guys as always.
Two
Jake
shot,
Care,
one
wrap it
shot
up.
guy to Mike. Two shot, two shot guys and a mic. Leif Taylor, J. Kev. I gotta say Leif Taylor first. Leif Taylor here, just having a conversation, having fun. Hopefully, dropping some nuggets of positivity and nuggets that help you along the way as you scroll along in the Facebooks and the other social medias worlds out there.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us. We definitely appreciate you. We don't take your time and attention for granted, and we hope the return on investment is worth it. So check out all our links. If you have any links, drop them in there, and
Yes,
we'll help support each other in any way that we can. So
that's right.
that's all I got.
One of another. Peace, everybody.